Hey, what's up guys? Chief Pat here, and today bringing you guys a brand new Clash Royale video, and today we're going to be bringing out a legendary free deck inside of Clash Royale. I know almost every single deck that I play and that most people play involves a legendary card. Now, obviously not everyone has access to that, not everyone's in the legendary arena, so today we're going to be bringing back a pretty big staple of a legendary free deck, and that's going to be the Giant Bowler and Musketeer combination. Now, of course, we've got the Mega Minion, which is the most overpowered card in the game. Its usage rate is ridiculous. The damage that it does, the tankiness, the fact that it doesn't die to a fireball is just nuts. So we get a couple more cards inside of the deck that we're going to be using, but again, let's go ahead and get into it right now inside of this challenge. Now, one thing, this is actually the very first video I'm doing from my new setup for my computer. I recently moved, and I moved all the way down to Texas. I got my own little office set up. Everything's really good, and I'm recording this using a new setup. So let me know how you guys think the audio is, how everything is. It should be okay, and yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff, and I should be able to bring a lot more content now that I have this set up and everything's all pimped out. Now, starting off, you can see I have the Giant Bowler and Lightning Spell combination. This guy actually has a pretty solid counter to our deck, which is going to be that Minion Horde. The Minion Horde's just so strong when you only have the Zap Spell, and this guy actually has the Miner as well. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit crafty right here. I've got the Zap Spell helping out against the minions. I've got the archers doing damage as well, and in the end, the Ice Golem will end up exploding onto our tower, but all in all, not too bad of a trade, and we're actually dead even, except for we're 4 HP down. So not the biggest deal. Let's go ahead and continue onward right now and drop our Tombstone. Generally with this deck, you want to set up with the Giant, the Bowler, maybe Giant Bowler Musketeer if you're really elixir rich, and then follow up with the Mega Minion. And seeing as this guy's using the Goblin Barrel, I can actually use my Bowler really effectively. Now, you guys might have noticed with that first Goblin Barrel placement that I used my Bowler directly behind the tower. And if you guys ever get hit with the Goblin Barrel, just place your Bowler directly behind the tower, and it actually works out really well. Now, switching stuff up right here, I'm actually going to go for the Giant, or for the Bowler as my tank, and then the Mega Minion as the support card. The Bowler is extremely tanky, so you can use that as a tank with a fair bit of success. But in the end, having that Minion Horde is just so strong, and beasted its way through my Bowler. I'm only going to get a single archer shot off onto that left-hand tower, and yet again, we are just so even as far as when it comes to hit points. Now, with a Miner alone on my tower, I'm just going to take that damage right there and let it do its thing. Honestly, it did do a pretty decent amount, so gotta feel sort of bad about that, but let's continue onward. We got the Giant, we've got the Bowler, and going into double elixir, I feel like this is really my time to shine. Most of my cards are actually decently expensive. We have a 5 elixir Giant, we got a 5 elixir Bowler, we got a 4 elixir Musketeer, a 6 elixir Lightning Spell. All those cards I just mentioned right there, that's a 5 elixir average for those. So meanwhile, let's go ahead and drop our Lightning Spell onto that Inferno Tower. Let our Giant break his way through. We've got the Musketeer helping out onto those minions right there. Giant isn't going to be able to get a hit off onto the tower in time, and with all these skeletons right here, Bowler's going to bowl it down. Let's drop the Zap Spell right on top of those goblins, and now with so many troops in the left-hand lane, it's going to be really difficult for him to actually do anything. The Giant's going to kill that Inferno Tower before it really charges up. We've got the Giant, the Mega Minion, the Musketeer, all drop a Tombstone on defense, but all in all, this game should be over, and with a Lightning Spell to cap it up, that should pretty much be the end. So that's it for the battle. With 1 second left, the Miner's going to do its best, but really no match for us right there, and that's going to be a clean 1 crown to 0 victory against that Giant, or that Goblin Barrel, Minion Horde, Skeleton Army. That was a complete bait deck, and we managed to shut it down without fireball or arrows. So continuing onward, let's get into battle number 2 using our Giant Bowler Lightning Musketeer deck. I don't even know what to call this. You guys can maybe drop a name for it in the comment section below, but he's going to place his Furnace in the very beginning. Now, the Tombstone is a great counter to the Furnace, but keep in mind the Furnace does have a longer lifespan, so it doesn't exactly counter it perfectly. The Tombstone will die out and let a couple of those Fire Spirits make its way to your lane, and it's only a 1 elixir difference, so I don't know how I feel about a Tombstone against a Furnace. However, it is a decent play, and as... What did we do? Oh man, that was pretty ugly right there. I don't want you guys to really bring that one up again. All right, so we managed to Lightning Spell nothing. However, our opponent doesn't know that. Our opponent didn't see the Lightning Spell. The Lightning Spell is actually one of the only cards, maybe the only card inside of the entire game that you can play and your opponent doesn't notice. So the fact that he wasn't able to see that might work to our advantage. Maybe he thinks that we have more elixir than we do. He thinks we have 6 elixir more than we do, but obviously that's not the case. Musketeer is going to clean up those Fire Spirits, and even with that 6 elixir fail right there, we barely took any damage onto that right-hand tower. In fact, we're going to get a couple of Musketeer pops off on this right-hand tower here, and even with that Furnace burning away, I'm still still feeling pretty confident about this right-hand tower right here. Let's go ahead and take that out. And here comes another Goblin Barrel. Again, Bowler in the very center will clean those up after it gets a couple of stabs off against my tower. And let's go ahead and go for another offensive push. He does have the Inferno Tower, so I've got to keep that in mind. And as I get ready to place my Giant, there it goes right now. He doesn't have the Minion Horde like that other guy, which is good, but it looks like that Inferno Tower is going to do work. I'm going to zap down all 3 of those buildings right there, or actually 2 buildings and a Princess. We're going to end up smacking that Inferno Tower down, but I don't know how much damage we're going to actually get. However, we do have a Bowler left, and don't tell Nagan AW8I, but that Bowler is going to be demolishing that tower, and we even have a Musketeer on that left-hand side. So tower's down to 1200, Musketeer's going to shoot that tower down to 2000. Things are looking good, and again, double elixir is where this deck really shines. Wait, this guy does have the Minion Horde actually. That's going to be another tough one to take out. I'm going to zap everything down. My Minion Horde, or the Minion Horde actually will die. And take a look as the skeletons are distracting the Princess perfectly, and the Mega Minion and Archer are going to make their way there before eventually, actually the Mega Minion's going to die, but the Archer will clean it up. That's going to work out so well for us, and we should be able to make a game-winning push right here. Now, Musketeer is an awkward counter for the Goblin Barrel. Definitely not ideal. But now that we have a Giant here, let's go and play our Bowler, and with double elixir, we have more than enough to get our Lightning Spell off, plus some supporting units. All right, so Lightning Spell is going to go down right now. I've got the Mega Minion to help out against this Minion Horde right here. It looks like the Bowler is doing work against that skeleton army out as it seems to do, and with the Mega Minion and the Archers running down the lane, if he isn't careful, he's going to lose that tower to the Mega Minion. Look at the Mega Minion. The Mega Minion's going to lock on, take a single hit, 2 hits against that right-hand tower. I'm going to zap down the Goblin Barrel as well as the Miner, and he actually got far too aggressive right there, thinking that that was his only chance to win. I'll just lightning down that tower, and even with a little bit of sweating towards the end, we'll pick up a pretty solid 1 crown victory right there using this legendary free deck. All right, so 2 for 2 using this deck. Let's hop into one more battle doing it. Again, you guys can use all these cards as long as you unlock the Bowler, which I think is the final one you would unlock inside of this deck, somewhere around the Frozen Peak, I guess, or maybe it's the Royal Arena. I think it's the Frozen Peak though, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, let's go and continue onward. Final battle of the day with the Tombstone against the Furnace yet again, and we've been playing the same deck over and over and over and over again. Well, this is shaping up to be pretty interesting. We get the Furnace, we get the Miner. Not sure if this guy is going to have the Minion Horde, if we're going to have to deal with that again. And take a look at that Musketeer. Perfect value for the Lightning Spell. We'll get the Furnace, the Musketeer, the Tower, and now with my Giant hanging out, I'm going to drop my Zap Spell, and the Giant will get, looks like 2 hits off against the Tower. So not too shabby of a deal getting 2 hits for that Zap Spell. And we did kill the 3 Elixir Skeleton Army with it anyways. So now with my Tombstones cleaning up the remainder of those skeletons inside the army, we can reset yet again and continue to try to pelt down that tower. Now, as far as the card you start with, this is actually pretty interesting. Now, I feel like it might be better to start with the Bowler inside of this deck, just because of the fact that it has pretty similar move speed to the Giant, and then obviously it's a defensive card. It's not just a card sitting there and doing nothing. So obviously if I drop my Giant there, the Bowler wouldn't have been able to help out against that Miner. It would have gotten an additional 2 hits or whatever off against the Tower. So all in all, pretty good start right now. And the Bowler's just waddling his way down the lane before eventually we can get ready with our push. Now, I'm going to use the Bowler as a tank yet again. I'll use my Lightning Spell against the Mega Minion, the Furnace, as well as that Tower right there. Bowler's going to pull down that Ice Spirit, and with the Bowler and the Archers doing work right here, the Fire Spirits actually are going to be pretty effective in stopping the Archers. This guy has some pretty good Fire Spirit placement. I have to give it to him. He's using the tank and spake strategy, letting the Skeleton Army tank for those Fire Spirits and keeping them distracted. And as he goes for a Miner and a Musketeer push, the Mega Minion still will be able to kill that Musketeer. Just such insane value for the Mega Minion right there, being able to kill a Musketeer plus an Ice Spirit. And now that I think he's low on Elixir, it's time to go for a counterattack. We got the Giant down, we've got the Musketeer as well as the Skeletons. I knew he was low on Elixir after such a pretty crazy jump right there. And with the Fire Spirits doing nothing, attacking those Skeletons, that means this tower is going to burst all the way down near 0. His Musketeer actually will beat mine after having an Ice Spirit help it out. And knowing that he's going to drop his Miner, I played my Archers, but they were actually not in the correct position. That was bad placement of the Archers, and because of that, that low health Musketeer is going to get so many additional hits off against the Tower. We should not have lost our first tower of the game, but sometimes that's how it goes. So let's go for a counterattack with the Mega Minion, the Musketeer, and with our Bowler in the right-hand lane, that tower should be as good instead. Perfect Lightning or Zap Spell in the left-hand lane. Things are looking amazing. Another Bowler in the very center. Even though he did get that tower, I knew this game was pretty much never in jeopardy, just because we had such a big Elixir advantage pumping down that left-hand lane. And as our Musketeer actually takes out his Mega Minion in a 1v1, that tower's going to drop all the way down near 0 before eventually that battle will be over with 668 HP. So good game against Legend. And guys, this is the Legendary free deck. If you guys don't have Legendaries, if you're sick of playing against Legendary cards, this deck is more than fine. You can see I was taking out Legendaries left and right with the Miner and the Princess. So try it out. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know how it works out for you. Again, Giant Bowler, Musketeer, Mega Minion, those are like your real staple cards. Archers as well is a great utility troop. Then we've got the Zap and the Lightning Spell. Of course, everyone's favorite spell cards right now inside of the game, as well as the Log. You got to show love to the Log. And then, of course, the Tombstone, just so versatile on both offense and defense with those little skeletons. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you smack that like button. Again, let me know what you think about my new setup as far as like the audio quality goes. Trying out a new microphone, so hopefully it works out okay for you guys. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.